Здравствуйте, меня зовут Richard Gom. Приятно познакомиться. Hello everybody, I'm Richard Gom of Work to Live podcast version. So, this time, what I'd like to talk about is, did you know that Joseph Stalin was a Georgian? So I'm going to tell you again. So, did you know that Joseph Stalin was a Georgian? So, to start with, so Joseph, maybe Joseph is a kind of an anglicized name. I don't know whether it's a correct expression as English language, but actually to start with, so using Russian language, his name is pronounced Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin is Russian name for that famous Stalin, and he's a political leader during the time of World War II, and as I wrote in the title of this episode, he was a Georgian, not Russian, and I think not I think maybe most of you know, and I don't know whether I don't know when it comes to the frequent listeners of my podcast, because so maybe if you are frequent listeners, if you are frequent listeners of my podcast, maybe you have already known that he was not ethnically a Russian, but he was a Georgian, because maybe if you are type who hate, if you're type who hate studying things, or if you're type who hate to study things, or if you do not like studies, if you do not like studying to start with, I don't think you are going to have an idea of listening to this podcast anyway. So I'm sorry for taking a long time. And anyway, so he was a political leader. He was the political leader of Russian Soviet Union in in the time of World War II, not particularly, especially. Maybe he was a general secretary of Soviet Union from 1922 to 1952, and so, which is why, so when World War II was provoked, or when World War II began, he was a political leader of Soviet Union, and he is so notorious is a suitable word for him, and I'm sorry if you really like Joseph Stalin or Joseph Stalin, and that is, and one of the famous stories about him is that he had killed more people than that notorious politician Adolf Hitler. And what is the most remarkable one is that what is the most remarkable point in this or in the stories of Joseph Stalin is that, so you know Adolf Hitler tried to kill or tried to massacre people, and in his case, the target was limited to the target was Jewish people, or the target to murder, or the target to kill was limited to only Jewish people. But actually, in the with regards to, or in the case of Joseph Stalin, so he tried to make his own country big. Or he tried to control his own nation, or his own country. And in the course of making his own country big, according to his own will, or according to his own plan, so he executed, or he killed a lot of people. And what I'd like you to know was a point is that he didn't intentionally kill a lot of people. So in the course of his own work, he killed so many people, because executions were necessary for accomplishing his own work. But in the case of Adolf Hitler, he intentionally killed a lot of Jewish people. Also although his target was, or the target of Adolf Hitler was limited to only Jewish people, but actually, in the case of Adolf Hitler, he intentionally killed Jewish people. But actually, so when it comes to when executing some people, of course, executors would have intentionally killed. So so how should I say? Protesting people, or revolting people, or rebelling people, or people against, so anyway, so executors following the order of Joseph Stalin killed people against the will of Soviet Union, or the will of Joseph Stalin. But actually, so what Joseph Stalin wanted to do was to make his own country better. But in the process doing his own works, he had to kill many people. But he could kill more people than Adolf Hitler did, which is there is such a famous rumor. I think that is a fact. And anyway, coming. So I remember that I haven't told you the conclusion of this episode. So what I wanted to tell you in this episode is that, so the conclusion is, what I wanted to tell you is the conclusion, and the conclusion is one of the merits of learning foreign languages again. So anyway, so I have emphasized in past episodes that it's really good to learn foreign languages, and I think most of the listeners of my podcast are native speakers of English language, which is one of the reasons that most native speakers of English language do not study foreign languages, because studying foreign languages is not necessary. And for example, if you're a native speaker who has a plan to immigrate into, for example, France or Germany, maybe not maybe, but I think you have to study the local language, and in that case, you have to study French and German and language. So if you immigrate into some other countries where other languages than English were used as official languages, or as de facto languages, so it's necessary for the immigrating native speakers of English language to study the local languages, which are different from English language. So anyway, so in this case, why I began to talk about Joseph Stalin is because, so I think this is one of the disadvantages of maybe English language. And English language can write foreign names, or foreign names in the manners of Latin alphabets, and which is why sometimes it's really difficult to distinguish the foreign names with the cultures, and connecting with the foreign names. So in this case, if you can't understand what I'm telling you, so in this case, so I think people understand what kind of person Joseph Stalin is, and because Joseph Stalin is really famous or notorious all over the world. But actually, only reading his name in English language, or reading his name in Latin alphabet, it's really difficult to notice that he was a Georgian, and so another manner to not notice that he was not a Russian, but a Georgian is that for example, if you are a native speaker of Russian, I think you have a possibility to notice that his ethnicity is different from Russian. That is because thinking about the pronunciation of Joseph, which is the first name of Mr. Stalin or Joseph Stalin, and Joseph is Joseph in maybe in Georgian language, but actually, so I don't know the details of Russian society, but actually, Joseph is really rare name in Russian society, and to start with, so Yosif is not so comfortable to pronounce, not because he had he had executed many people, but because the pronunciation is foreign to Russian language, and that is because Yosif is a Georgian name, which is why if you are a native speaker of Georgia, I think you can correctly pronounce his name, or I think you can pronounce his name without any inconveniences, no, without any frustrations, or without any without any sense of disharmonization. I don't know whether such a word exists like disharmonization or not. Anyway, like which, so by using foreign languages, but by using foreign languages belonging to for example, studying Chinese or studying Russian is fine. Of course, studying French language is all right. So by using foreign languages, I have anyway, you can distinguish the relationships between among foreign cultures, and in the case of the name of Joseph Stalin, so it's possible to understand that Joseph Stalin is not a ethnically Russian, or Joseph Stalin is not Russian, is not an ethnically Russian by using Russian language, which is one of the merits of foreign languages. So of course, so another merit of using foreign language is to communicate to the local people using that language. And for example, if you use Norwegian language, and you can communicate with Norwegian people in Norway, such a merit is one of the remarkable merits of learning foreign languages. Anyway, so I'm going to end this episode, and before ending this episode, I'm going to tell you the title and the conclusion of this episode. The title is "Did you know that Joseph Stalin was a Georgian?" And the conclusion is one of the merits of learning foreign languages again. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.